Hello everyone and welcome back to Abundantly Minimal. I have a confession to make. I have a lot of digital photos, and as much as I'd like to say they're all organized, they're not. I actually have 3 computers worth of lots of photos, and I have done a great job with physical photos. I've done a lot in my physical environment, but my digital clutter is by far the worst. So I have decided it's time, and we're going to tackle our digital photo clutter. When I say our, I mean mine. But I'm hopeful that this can also inspire you to tackle some of your digital clutter, maybe in the form of photos as well, especially if that's a challenge. And while a lot of us maybe aren't necessarily as concerned with digital clutter because we don't see it in our spaces, it still can be a very big, wow, there's so much sun coming in right now. We're just gonna go with it. Digital clutter can really accumulate fast because we aren't actually seeing it in our physical space. But if we do value, let's say, these photos that we're taking, it is very important that we take action to organize and protect them. Because here's a couple, simple truths. Number 1, unfortunately, devices fail. And if our devices fail and we don't have our images backed up elsewhere in an intentional way, we're going to lose them. Number 2, with any type of photos or files, we want to preserve the best and organize them. Because if you've got thousands of these images, it's going to be very tedious to go through them. So if you've identified the best ones, that's going to help a lot. For me, another goal of mine is that all of my photos are in one place. I know I love taking pictures. We've done a lot of travels in our lives, and also even growing up, I was that friend who had the camera and I was ready to capture the fun moments. So like when I was working as an RA or in college, I got thousands of pictures from those times. And so it really does me no good if they're all in these separate places. And like I mentioned earlier, a device could fail or something could happen and I could lose them. So I want to keep things contained in one place. It's also important to me that I open up computer space. I know I'm extra motivated to make this video because Jake is actually going to be getting my current computer. I am getting a new one. I work computers really, really hard. So I needed one that was upgraded with a bit more storage and some other different features. So Jake doesn't use computers nearly as intensely as I do with a lot of the different programs I run. So with that, I want to make sure the computer is nicely organized for him and ready to go, and that he doesn't have to sift through all of my old files. So that's another added purpose for today, and just cleaning up that excess, the space that we, don't need to be wasting. And in doing this, another goal I have is just having a better system for the future. So that's kind of where I'm coming from, why it's time for me to actually go through this. And everyone is going to have a different photo situation. For me, I want to tackle this computer, and also I want to tackle photos on my phone because those I don't delete regularly enough, I don't think. So I am going to be tackling both of those, and I want to take you along with me. Feel free to declutter along with me while you are listening to the video or watching the video, and I think we can get a lot of digital decluttering taken care of. This will be largely screen share. Not going to share all my photos, but I'll be walking you through my process as I go through them, and also how I will be preserving them going forward. So let's go get into the screen share. All right, welcome to my photo library at the moment. We are going to be tackling this computer. Now, fun fact, or not so fun fact, my memory is so low on the computer, the space available, that it's really not going to be happy about me doing too much video recording, so I'm going to be pausing it a lot and then taking care of stuff. But I've decided I'm going to be backing up some of my photos in Dropbox if they're more of a business photo, and the others I just went through and created some albums. Now I've got 2019, 2020, and 2021, as well as some teaching photos. Those are going to be the types of things I have on this device, but I also did do a project, a little family surprise, where I digitized about, I think, maybe 10 years of childhood photos of my parents. Like, I went through and found the best ones. So I have those records on here. So I want to make sure I save those as well after I digitize them. And it's important as we go through here, I'm not just going to drag these things over and upload them, although that would certainly be faster. I want to filter as I go. Now this is not very exciting. These are all like from product photos. But especially as we get to like different family things or trip things, it's important to me to make sure I'm kind of choosing the best ones. If there are things that are all looking the same, just picking one or two and moving on with the others. So that's kind of where we're at with these. So I'm starting with over 5,000 photos and 80 videos. And I've already pared that down because I knew I was low on space, but that's going to be kind of what we're looking at today. All right, so after going through some of the photos, right now what I've been doing is I'm just going through yearly photos by now, and a lot of these are from our trip. They're not necessarily that good. And so now that enough time has passed, I know that most of the photos I don't need. A lot of times when you're taking photos, it's like, random. Oh, that was anyway, so it's like I'm flagging different ones. Okay, these are a little rough. We don't need to see these at full screen. But I'm basically starring things that I do, wish to keep, and then for things that I, don't wish to keep, I'm not starring them. A lot of these are going to be like history photos, I guess, and we took a lot of photos together. So those I'm going to have to go through in a little more depth. But then after, flagging these different photos, then I'm importing them to the Shutterfly account. So I've since added, so these are from the trip, or from that trip in 2019. So I've narrowed down the best ones, and so then I don't have to import so many into the Shutterfly folder. So that's the plan. So now I've gone through a bunch of the travel photos that I wish to keep. Some of these are going to be for resources. So I'm going to just select all of the ones that we're keeping that are travel related. So we've got those all selected. I'm going to unselect these because those are not. Manually select a few of these other ones that are not for resource creation. A lot of this is for business. Yeah, okay, perfect. And so then we're going to drag that over. It definitely is not a speedy process, but it's to be expected as some of the photos are larger file sizes. But essentially that will export there, and then I'll upload the other ones to the Dropbox folder once they are ready. So one other thing I'll add, I don't think this is actually that interesting probably for you as a viewer, but one thing that I'll add is that sometimes you got to change your plans once you start something. I was very excited thinking that using Shutterfly would be a good option, but honestly, they were giving me tech issues, so we're just going back to Dropbox. So that's a little bit quicker of a process. It gives you a better progress bar, and the other one was causing problems. So this way it goes a little faster, so I can manually wait, and I can still separate, resources based upon albums and whatnot. So I think that is, and wow, that happens so fast. So I think sometimes the best thing to do if you've got a big project like this is to just test it out and see how it's working to be able to, make plans accordingly. And now I went through favorite photos. So the stuff that's still here is the stuff that didn't get selected. So that's very easy for me to just,
manually select and delete all of these because none of these made the cut. There's nothing sad about it. It's just part of the process. Not every picture turns out great, and having so many doesn't actually really help us. So just going through, these are all photos that I'll be deleting because we have other ones. Some of them are blurry, all the different reasons we take extra photos, and sometimes they just don't turn out. So I'm just going through. This from a cookbook I thought it would make. Okay, perfect. Now we'll just do those later. Okay, so we're going to delete. And this really is, I'll go to my recently deleted, this really is the way that a lot of photos can be dealt with. All right, we are back. Just checking in so far, things have really reduced. We are almost getting to half where we were before, which I think might be my stopping point for this first part. But the easier parts are actually when we're not traveling, because one of the reasons I don't take thumbnail photos anymore, like a lot of people put themselves on the thumbnail, it's just annoying to do that. If there's like a different need for a photo for something, you end up taking a lot of them, and it's just kind of unpleasant. So these other ones, like Jake had to do a photo for something at school, so these are very easy things to delete because they're really not necessary at all. Like after you take them, I don't know why I hadn't gone through some of these before. Same with like social media posts as well. You just don't need it. And generally most of them don't look good anyway. Fun fact, sometimes to show Jake the kind of picture I wanted for a thumbnail or these are for website photos, I take pictures of him how I want them, and then he tries to replicate it since it's not his preferred photography is not his preferred activity. So yeah, just lots here to delete. That was kind of pointless for being here. All related to different videos. All right. To conclude our photo project, I did finish going through photos, and I ended up here with less than 2,000 on this device, which is a big improvement from the over 5,000 that we started with. Also deleted some of the video files as well. Definitely were a lot of photos that were really for only a short-term purpose that I was able to deal with, and then I switched things over to Dropbox folders to help with organization and being able to find them easier. Within my Dropbox, I made a US history photo section where I was able to put things in separate folders based upon the place or the specific museum where we were. And so now these will be really helpful tools for me in the future when I'm creating US history resources that I can pull from these and incorporate those elements and that info in my resources. In addition to backing up files here. My only complaint I would say with Dropbox is that it did shuffle the order of these photos. However, fortunately I consolidated them and only put my favorites here, so that does prevent it from being as bulky. But that is just something to keep in mind here. It doesn't happen when I import them directly to Dropbox from my camera, like in present times, but it did happen with these older photos. Total, this ended up saving about 15 gigabytes of space on this device, which was a big significant point to declutter, which I'm really happy about and will hopefully help the computer continue to run optimally. And while I'm not going to tackle the other devices I have in the immediate future, since it definitely can be a little tedious, I know that this process was doable enough that I will hopefully try to take care of that, before the end of this calendar year, just so I can have all my photos in one place, as I mentioned earlier. So all in all, I think it was a good project, and hopefully it wasn't too boring coming along for the ride, and maybe you even were able to tackle some of your own photos while we worked.
That was a journey, but we're back. We succeeded at this particular phase of the photo decluttering challenge. I'm feeling excited about the progress that was made. I'm going to show the numbers here on the screen just to show what we started with and where we're at now. So very excited about this progress. I do have 2 other old computers that I have a lot of photos on. So I think for me, those are going to be the next project I look at with decluttering. Not sure I'll film that process. Well, I guess we'll see how this video performs if people find that interesting. But if not, this has been a great experience, and I'm hopeful that you were able to take away some of these photo decluttering strategies, specifically for digital photos. If you'd like to check out some of my other decluttering videos, I've got more of those, which I'll leave linked here, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel right up here. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.